There's a couple different ways to use them. A lot of traders use them to try and trade in between, buy when it hits the lower band, sell when it hits the higher band. That's one way to use them. Another way
Welcome back, traders and investors. I hope you're strapped into your chair because we have Fari Hamzei on of Hamzei Analytics, who always gives us a colorful and educational look at the markets. Fari, I looked at that email, your most recent email, and Fari...
You mean late last night?
Yes, late last night, and Fari says we have some work to do on the downside. Will you please elaborate?
Right. Well, first of all, let me give you a legal disclaimer and say opinions are a dime a dozen. You have an opinion, I have an opinion, Carl has an opinion, so we're all qualified for that. It's just what I look at. I usually communicate with my team, with my members. We have 7 products, so you give. And obviously, our main trust is equities and derivatives of equities, and market timing is a key part of that. That's why we have dedicated a single feed just for that, hunter killer sub. And last night in the chat room, there was a discussion before the close, like, sir, what do you think? Well, let me get the settlement data. Let's see how all the, I'm in reading tea leaves. Let's see how they fall. Let's see where we are. Look at some of our true and tested indicators, what they're saying. And to me, where I sit now, given the chart pattern, given the numbers, we came very close to a launch pad mode last week. I went to lunch, left you guys alone on Thursday. I come back, you guys all messed it up. It rallied. And to go back to that mode is not easy because we were down there. We were just waiting for the proverbial baby with a bathwater, modified for the Navy, shoot it out of torpedo tubes. It didn't happen. That is where you have capitulation. We got very close. We were probably, I'd say, a day to maybe a day and a half of trading away from that point. Of course, it's all, as you know better than I do, it's all function of order flow. We got that close, so we missed it. Now, we seem to have the market say, hey, I got second thoughts. We still may have a downside work we got to do. And that was my conclusions as of last night's data. Of course, after market, a lot happens. But after market, we've traded 200,000 S&Ps. Nothing. It's just noise. What matters is the RTH, where the big guns are at their silos and with the missile keys inserted, which will start probably, in 50 minutes?
Correct.
So when they come in, we'll have to see where we go.
As far as levels on the downside here, Fari, the only thing I see yesterday's low at 24.25, a little bit of panic selling there near the close. I'm looking at that below that. Now, I think it's just a question.
And you're talking about the futures, right? ES futures or the cash?
I am talking about the futures. I don't pay any attention to the cash because it's closed.
Gotcha.
Low of the move, 19.1825. We're 11 points away from that. You're looking for that level to hold up, or you think we're going to give that a test today?
Well, our target yesterday was 24.22. We got fairly close to that. As you saw that, we set the table out early in the day. For our target today, we're looking at 18.17 for now. And then, about 18.17. This is what our estimate is for today. Again, I trade by indicators, not by price. Okay? Price always pays. Now, here's the caveat. Got to be good indicators, okay? Not just the indicators are against dime a dozen. You got to pick them carefully. But I trade the price with the indicators. I see what the internals are. I see what the certain parameters that we look for example, down to up volume ratio, McClellan oscillator, the trender for Russell 2000, which is the risk on, risk off. We're historically near a bounce area. Okay, we're fairly close on that one, but not the other measures. And also, we carry, as you know, live dollar-weighted put-call ratios throughout the day. We both chart it and you look at it in the table. They are not. I repeat, again, we're not at capitulation point, which means the bleeding will continue. We should have a slow bleed until one day everybody says, hey, let's get rid of these. I'm out. That's the time I'm going to go in and buy a bunch of SPY calls, and I also load up on their futures on the long side.
Now, Fari,
We're not there yet, but we're close.
Were
Yes,
you
sir.
able to get short a little bit higher on Monday? I know it gave you a shot, but not for long.
We had it just.
You mean today? Yeah, well, we're up. First of all, we're up positive right now. Last night we were a little bit down, just momentarily. Most of the night we've spent being on the upside. It's 1.5. You know, I try to go home flat. Last night, by change, I said, look, some people probably saw that on the stream. I said, look, I may hold it overnight. I put a position in, and then it sank near the close. If you look at the last 20 minutes, we really sank. Now, the other disappointment yesterday, again, it's reading tea leaves, the MOC was too weak, market on close. On a day like that, you really want to see a bigger market on close. So no panic again, okay? The signs of panics are not on yet. So we had only, I think, 600 million, 580 something, which is, I discount the first $500 million anyway, the 500 million. That's noise. So for a day like that, where we're down some 200 some points on the Dow, 580 million is nothing. So we pushed down, and I think at 25, 26, I covered. It was just a gift. I said, here, this is it. What am I going to do here? Let's take this money, and then I don't want to sit up all night, worry about the few positions. As you know, the low tick was 25.75, but we had a fairly good volume around 27, and I was short from 31s. So that was a 4 handle. You know, last 20 minutes, last 15
that was
minutes.
quick.
That's a fast payback. That's a lot of soup.
Yeah, no, Kyle was, and this is what we were referring to. You had the unenjoyment number on Friday, right? And we took off like a bat out of hell. And on Monday, we traded 1971. I was looking at the 50% retracement of that entire move from 2014 down to 1918. The 50% retracement is at the 6650 level. Got a little bit higher than that, but I was comfortable with the short position there. I had no idea we'd be going down this low. It gave you that. I mean, that rally on Friday really screwed a lot of people. It screwed a lot of shorts.
Correct.
Were you like when it got
especially
up?
pre-market?
Yeah.
Remember, they juiced it up. We talked about it in our webinar. The webinar is posted. It's recorded, the format we cannot edit. We said, hey, guys, if this thing gets juiced up, we got problems. And watch out. It is juiced up, and the number is on the upper range of the consensus estimate. And my target, which is recorded on the webinar, said 210 to 250. We came 248. So we came into I'm not a fundy, I don't do that. But for NFP, I try to go read out there and come up with my number I think is reasonable. So we came to a very close high end of the range, and where were we on ESP number? At 2 minutes, which is the scoring off period, especially back to then when bonds were very active, at 2 minutes to go, at T-2, which is 7:28 Chicago time, we're up 10 handles. If that's not juiced up, what is? Right? They juiced it up, so this was like crazy. Like, very tough to trade, by the way. Early Friday was very tough to trade. I got 2 trades off, and then I went to a much, much smaller size. And that was it. That's why I was done about 7:35. I traded about 5 minutes on Friday of any size. After that, we collapsed down the size next to nothing, just to keep the room involved. You know, give some trade to the people in the room and so forth. But it was a wild non-farm. You saw how the moves were. You know, that first bar was massive. But usually, NFP is never calm. It was just the fact that we get so juiced up, and then the spin meisters came out and said, "What a great numbers we have." Well, from the lawn of the White House. I don't know. You know, if we were that great, why are we trading here now? So we'll see.
Hey, Fari, I got a question here in the chat for you from Rob.
Yes, sir.
It says he wants your thoughts on the increasing number of stocks trading below their major moving averages. And as a retail investor, should one be more concerned with the daily or weekly charts?
I would still stay with daily because of what you're doing as a retail. Weekly is really realm of the funds. There is a chart we post on Saturdays, and also we're talking webinars on the Hunter Killer sub. It's available publicly. I'll post it again a little bit later on today. I'll hash mark it with pre-market. It's out of, I think, stock charts. It's number of the stocks, okay, above the 200-day moving average, okay? And this data goes back, it's a recent chart, probably goes back, 2006, 2007, where they came up with it, and they carry it. I look at it daily, and I look at it as a divergence against SPX. Last night it was at 65.80. That number is dropping. The bigger problem is the distance between that number and its moving 50 and 20-day moving averages. It's just simple math. When that differential opens up, either downside or upside, doesn't matter. The momentum is coming in. Okay? Right now, we're building a downward momentum. And it has been having divergences that go back to early last year. I've been talking about it every Saturday, saying, guys, this is a problem coming. This is a sleeping problem. It's going to wake up and bite us in the rear end when you least expect it.
All right, Fari, how
And
about the
I'll post it later on for you guys.
how about the momos holding up here? We were talking about, obviously the tumbling Tuesday yesterday.
Tesla?
Well, we're seeing some momos holding up. What do you think of that?
Well, Tesla, we're in Tesla. Reg FD, full disclosure, we're in Tesla, and we were very pleased with the way it held up yesterday. I heard the earlier discussion here. I agree with Joel completely that given the market action, in light of that, look where we are. It's holding a 50 bar. Our model, we used to also run, we don't trade by it, but we run models just to see what the machine is looking at it versus what the analyst is looking at. Our model went to a buy day before yesterday. On Friday, went to a buy. I think we have a fairly good chance to go up there and test, let me give you a level here for you, 280 area. We're set up to go there, to about 280 area. 270, 269 is the first target. 280, 281 is the second target. We got to call a spread, I believe, 260, 270s. Now, we may roll it because of an expiration that's coming in. These are October's. We may roll it. We were in a lot better shape earlier. We didn't take profit. We missed that. But we'll come back and repair it. We've got Apple. There's some sort of announcement tomorrow, I believe, from Apple. That's another. Now, you may not call that mobile, but recently it's been fairly good, active. There's a lot of volume. Last 2 or 3 days has been a leading volume leader, or if not the second one. We do have, again, we're bullish on that. We have call spreads on it. We've got a couple of bear plays on FB. Ethan does, but those are a little bit longer term. He's also doing, let's see, I'm looking at the board right now, what's live in front of me, what he's got on. He also has got some November 38th puts on Twitter. So we're involved in FB, Twitter, Apple, Tesla. We have, of course, a couple of market timing plays like SPY, IMWs, just to create an additional hedge, if you will. He's got also a couple of the high beta strangles. But in terms of momos, he was going to look into GP Pro to get in, but I don't think it triggered. His system did not trigger. So he's on a hunt, but we don't have an active position there. So in the momos, Apple, FB, Twitter, Tesla.
What do you think the D stands for tomorrow on the unveiling? Driverless car, or what do you think? What do you think he's going to unveil?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
I'm a quant guy. I usually let things, the chips fall and then read the tea leaves. I have no idea what's coming down. Actually, I got a couple of really sharp guys on Apple enthusiasts in the chat rooms, and they usually give me things to read. They do the research and all that, and I take a look at it. I usually start with quantitative work, look into technical, and then at the end, I'll look at some fundy stuff. I'm kind of reverse of most people.
Fari, let's talk about GTAT here, GTAT Technologies. I mean, usually when you see a stock go into bankruptcy, it has its death march. This stock was cut in half since July, kind of losing the contracts with Apple, and the street got a little bit negative. But what do you take from that? That a stock that's trading at $10.50, $11. They actually opened it on Monday. Okay, then they halted it, and then it opens up $1. Do you think that this is something that's like spooking the market that has been contributed to the sell-off, or it could even be the main driver?
I have no clue. I mean, under 20, it drops off my list. I don't look at it. It's called a sponsorship that William O'Neill talks about. The guy who did Canceling. I see the chart. It went from 10.56 or thereabouts. I guess is it Monday? Yeah, on Monday, down to $1. I mean, you have a gun? This horse is done. That's one of his miseries.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't advise people to play it. It's almost acting like an option. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just it's done. So I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. As I said, below 20, it's for example AA today, right? We're starting earnings season this week. This is our big thing for us. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it today. My items I want to look at, which I did not play because of time issues yesterday, is that market expectations versus the actual reaction on Monsanto and Costco. Those are the items, for example, I will look at. And then what's on our list is some financials that are coming up. We're going to play those. And then I think the first tech is Intel. The first major tech coming up is Intel. Monsanto hasn't been hit that bad. It's only down, 27 cents. But remember, here's the thing we have noticed. We run Google Docs for collaboration that keeps, and it's fairly live. I mean, probably updates 2 or 3 times a day. That we look at last quarter earnings, prior year earning, estimate, and whisper. Okay, what we've been noticing, and one of the analysts was reminding me last night in a conference call we had, one of my team members said, "Look, they're writing them down. They keep on lowering the estimates. So the analysts are going to be wrong. That means that they've shaved it off too far, and so we could have some positive upward surprises." It also says the sad state of real economy. That they're writing these estimates down so much. Monsanto was one of them. Major rewrites down to. If you look at what they did last year versus this year, it's just horrible. So the other one was Costco, COST. I heard you guys talk about it.
Right.
And we're up 2.3%. Yeah.
Do you follow Baidu? BIDU?
Yes, we do. We do follow Baidu. Yes. I mean, we don't have any current versions in it. We have traded in the last quarter. We'll trade this quarter. We do follow it, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Final question for you.
What's your question?
How's Ethan doing?
Oh, Ethan's on fire. I mean, you see the table I send you guys in real time to you and to Dennis. He's on fire, especially to the downside. He's on the upside. He gets bored. He says, "Another 2014 again." Forget it. On the downside, he's getting excited. It's like he smelled the sizzle. Here comes the steak. He's ready. Oh. So.
That's funny because it's funny you mentioned that because Joe asked me yesterday. He's like, "Man, you're just hopping around the office and you're so excited." And I'm like, "There's volatility in the market, Joe. We're just not, going up." So that's funny. And well, I'm glad, because he stuck with his thesis and we talked about how he played it. And now just let us know when he gets bullish then so we could turn things around. But Fari Hamzei Analytics with us on Benzinga's pre-market prep brought to you by Charles Schwab every Wednesday because he's on Stocks and Jocks on Thursday. So one final question. Who do you think if you go on Stocks and Jocks, you have to have an opinion about sports. Who's going to win the World Series?
I don't know yet, but that's the only sport I watch is baseball because everything I do in my life is time dated and time sensitive, and baseball doesn't have a clock. So we'll zero in on that a little bit later on. And I'm blessed over there. I only need to talk about stocks because there are a couple of heavy-duty jocks guys there. Kevin is one of them. Comes in from Michigan on a call. So, but we're a little bit too early for us. But
Okay.
it's the best time of the year for me, sports wise, and I really enjoy it these days. And that's why sometimes you're going to see, if you're in the chat room, you may hear baseball in the background running here. So
Okay.
forget about Comedy Central.
Thank you.
AKA CNBC.
We got it. Thank you, Fari.